Welcome to Small Cap Nation. I'm Jane King at the New York Stock Exchange. With me today is David Siegel of Investopedia and Peter Hans of Harvest Exchange. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice to see you guys again.
Great to be here.
And David, let's start with this new project that you're launching, Advisor Insight at Investopedia. Tell me what that is.
Sure. So Investopedia has always been about helping users to make investing less complex,
Sure.
make it easier. When I first came about a year ago to Investopedia, I found that there were tons of advisors using our site. And I thought, why would they be using our site? That doesn't make much sense. I learned that advisors' jobs and their mission is to help users, their clients, to simplify the complex for their clients.
Okay, makes sense.
So because their mission was about simplifying the complex for their clients, our mission is about simplifying the complex around finance and investing for our users, we thought, hey, let's figure out how to partner with them. So we built something called Advisor Insights, where users can ask questions of advisors. We now have about 200 questions a week from our user base. We have about 100 advisors who are answering those questions. We just launched it around a week ago, and it's really exciting because heretofore, users could not access advisors and the great expertise of advisors unless they were actually paying an advisor for help. And advisors don't have many opportunities to truly build a digital presence and market to our 20 million users that we have in Investopedia. So the plan is to create a win-win scenario.
Okay, and also Peter, Harvest Exchange is working with advisors as well. How do you facilitate business along those lines?
Sure, and very similar thematically to what David was getting at, advisors are the largest segment of our user base, and Investopedia and Harvest Exchange differ a little bit, very similar missions, but we focus on a much more professional demographic and kind of a B2B marketing segment. But essentially, if you look at the advisor industry, it's very fragmented and not unlike other segments of asset management institutionally. You spend a lot of time trying to demonstrate your expertise to a user base so that you can bring them on as a prospective client. Then you need to convert that client. Then you actually need to manage the money and invest. And then you need to just communicate with your existing clients what the value you're providing with them for the fee that they are paying you. So those are four things, and really only one of them is about investing. So our platform and software really helps advisors to communicate their expertise in the way that they control in a fully compliant and secure fashion, and then to communicate with existing clients in a very efficient manner what that value is so that they can strengthen those relationships through digital.
Okay, so walk me through the process. So say I'm a new person right out of college, want to learn about investing, and I want to know about collateralized debt obligations or something like that. How do I do it? I go to Investopedia.com and what?
So the old way was you'd go to us or another site, you would browse, you would try to find the right article. That article may or may not be consistent with exactly what you're interested in learning about, and it's not a particularly customized experience. There are sites like Quora out there where you could ask questions to large groups of people and have anyone answer them.
Okay, but you didn't know if you could trust the information.
That's the problem,
right.
So what we wanted to create was the ability to ask questions, to get really specific questions about what your needs are about collateralized debt obligations, etc., and then have only a small subset of the true experts in the field, financial advisors, be able to answer those questions. So what happens is someone logs on to Investopedia, they input their question, the question goes to our hundreds of advisors that are part of our network. The advisors, then each advisor has a dashboard of different questions that have been asked, and then they'll provide an answer. When they provide an answer, it first goes through their compliance department.
Okay.
They send it over to compliance, and only after compliance has reviewed it, it can get sent over to us, and then we publish it. After publishing it, we then notify the user that their question was answered, and oftentimes questions are answered by 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes many as 10 to 15 different advisors.
Okay.
So if you're a user, you're able to see, wow, I now have 4 or 5 different answers to my question. And sometimes having different answers and actual debates and discussions is in fact more helpful to a user than just having one standard answer.
Sure, you get like different perspectives on it.
Exactly.
What's the turnaround time on that? 24 hours or?
So because compliance is so important,
Yes.
Our goal is within 48 to 72 hours,
Okay.
2 to 3 days.
Okay.
Most of the time the questions are asked are not like, I need to have an answer right now. It's over 50% of the questions that have been asked are about retirement, despite the fact that retirement is only about 4% of the content on Investopedia.
Interesting.
So there's just a lot of not unrest, I would say, but a lot of confusion from the tens of thousands of boomers that are retiring every day and changes in Social Security, et cetera. So that's the most typical type of question that we're getting asked.
Now, Peter, are you finding retirement also a hot topic on Harvest?
Not really. And again, it's kind of a different goal in
Okay.
mind. If you think about why an advisor would use, the platform David's explaining, it's the same reason why they would post content to market themselves on Harvest. It's to get their brand out there in a very scalable fashion and ideally connect with potential clients, right? In a way that's not, hey, come to my seminar and I'll give you a $50 Chili's gift card, because that never worked and it certainly is not going to work in the future. So what people will tend to use with Harvest is something that they feel differentiates their brand. And retirement, frankly, for an advisor, it's not that differentiating. So, how are you a steward for your client? What really separates your organization from every other independent financial advisor organization in the country? Because if I'm a consumer and looking to put my money with an advisor, I need to have some sort of emotional connection with the value proposition that you are going to offer me, and retirement to me doesn't convey that emotional connection.
Okay, well, while we're talking about emotional connections, I want to talk about robo-advisors.
Sure.
It's growing industry. Do you find there's a role for robo-advisors to play in people's financial planning? What do you think, Peter?
Take it first.
Sure, I think there's a role and there's a value there for sure. I think if you look at it as a complete supplement to the financial advisory industry, that's completely wrong. Because what a robo-advisor does is, allocates money to equity and low-cost index funds and allows you to rebalance, and there's a place for that. But what an advisor does is, and can be certainly far more complex in terms of estate planning, tax management, different sort of vehicles and access to other asset classes. And I think the biggest issue that advisors face right now with their existing clients is, how do I communicate with them in a more efficient and scalable fashion that makes good use of their time, my time, and where I can manage more clients and convey the value proposition that they are getting for the fee they are paying me, which is higher than what they would pay a robo-advisor.
And I wonder, some of financial advisors might want somebody with a certain amount of investable assets or
Yes.
something like that. And that's where a robo-advisor may help somebody who's just
Yes.
getting started.
Yes.
All right?
Well, that's right. So robo-advisors can be helpful to financial advisors in that some FAs have a minimum threshold, and robo-advisors are so scalable and efficient that they'll take people on with minimal to no investable assets. The state of financial literacy in America is
Terrible.
woeful. It's absolutely terrible. So if someone is going to choose to use a robo-advisor over nothing, all power to them. If someone is going to, however, choose a robo-advisor and instead of and fire their potential, their financial advisor, and or if they have significant assets to invest and they want to solely use a robo-advisor without any human interaction, I'm not going to say terrible, I'm saying they're missing out on a really important financial planning opportunity. And the ideal scenario is frankly the hybrid approach that exists, where you're able to get the benefit from both the digital side, which is what Harvest does, which is what we do, while at the same time having the personal side as well. And it's that kind of combination, all the great things that digital can provide. Digital provides scale, provides efficiency, it provides the ability to have direct interactions in a rapid pace, and it provides the ability to reach people in their 20s and their 30s and the 40s that don't want to necessarily have as many in-person meetings and want to have more of a digital relationship. At the same time, the direct relationships are critical because they provide real custom advice, which is far more valuable than what robo-advisor can typically provide.
Okay, thank you very much. Good information. Thank you, Peter Hans of
Thank you.
Harvest Exchange. Tell me the website again where people can go and find out more.
is hvst.com.
hvst.com. Okay, and David Siegel, Investopedia.com.
Investopedia.com. Very easy. Been around for 16 years.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us on Small Cap Nation.